If I had to start my AI business over from scratch today with 0 followers, 0 email list, and 0 paying customers, I'd skip about 80% of what I actually did, and I'd be at 6 figures in half the time. I pulled almost 2 million followers across social media. I run a profitable AI product with thousands of paying users, and I hit 30 million views last month just teaching this stuff for free. So I know exactly what worked, and just as importantly, I know exactly what I wasted years on. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, you already had a head start, or it's different for me, or the market is too saturated now, trust me, it's not. The exact 5 things I'm about to walk through, I'll break down number 3 live with sample DM scripts you can literally copy and paste, plus the 90-day timeline I would follow if I had to start completely over tomorrow. And don't sleep on this, because the AI window is closing way faster than people realize. The same opportunity that looked wide open in early 2024 is already getting crowded, and 2026 is going to look completely different from 2025. The smartest move right now is to compress 2 years of trial and error into the next 60 days. That's exactly what this video is going to give you. Before we dive in, hit follow, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next training, because I'm dropping new playbooks every single week. Okay, so let me set the stage really quick before we get into the 5. When I first started, I made every single classic mistake you can make as a non-technical founder pivoting into the AI space. I spent way too long figuring out what to post. I jumped between 5 platforms at once. I built a product before I had an audience. I treated marketing like an afterthought, and I tried to learn everything before I shipped anything. Honestly, looking back, none of that was necessary. None of it. The reason I'm doing this video is because every single week I see thousands of people in my community making the exact same mistakes I made. And they're going to waste 12, 18, sometimes 24 months figuring out what I'm about to tell you in the next 25 minutes. That's the entire point of this video. So if you're brand new and you haven't started yet, this is your playbook. If you're already 3 months in and feeling stuck, this is your reset. If you've been grinding for a year with nothing to show for it, this is the diagnostic. Either way, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do tomorrow morning. And not just tomorrow morning, but every morning for the next 90 days. Here we go. So thing number 1 I'd do differently is I would steal viral formats from day 1 and stop trying to be original. When I first started creating content, I had this Silicon Valley bias where I thought my content absolutely had to be unique. I had to come up with my own hooks. I had to develop my own voice. I had to find my own angle. I had to be the original thinker in the room. And I'm telling you, that mindset cost me probably 6 months of growth. Because here's the reality. When you're brand new, you don't have taste yet. You don't have an audience giving you real feedback. You don't know what works. You don't know what hooks people. You don't know what your niche wants to see. So sitting in your room trying to invent something original from scratch is genuinely the slowest possible way to figure all of that out. What I would do now, and what I tell people in my community to do every single day, is open TikTok, open Instagram, and search the topic you want to be known for. Spend 20 minutes scrolling to find the top 50 viral videos from the last 30 days. Then you're going to copy them. Not loosely, not as inspiration, not as a vibe. Copy them word for word, especially the first 10 seconds. People feel weird about this, and honestly that's good because it means you have a moral compass. But here's the thing I keep telling my community. Almost every creator I see explode in the AI space did exactly this. They did not invent, they modeled. They watched what was already working and ran their own version of it. After 60 to 90 days of copying what's already working, you naturally start to develop your own taste and voice. That's when originality finally shows up. Not at day 1, but at day 90, when you've seen enough data to know what your audience responds to. The other piece of this is the hook. Your first 10 seconds are 90% of what makes a video go viral. So if you copy nothing else, copy the hook. Same opening line, same energy, same structure. Then between seconds 10 and 45, you can say whatever you want. Honestly, it doesn't really matter if you deliver one useful tip. The biggest mistake I see is people trying to be clever in the hook. They want to be funny, they want to be unique, they want to stand out. Don't. The hook is not where you stand out. The hook is where you survive the first 10 seconds. You stand out throughout the rest of the video. And there's another mistake I want to call out here. People who copy 1 or 2 videos and then declare it didn't work. You must commit to volume. We're talking 50, 60, or 100 modeled videos before you can evaluate whether this is working. The algorithm needs data, and you only provide it by posting consistently. If I were starting over tomorrow, on day 1, I'd pull 20 viral hooks from the AI niche. On day 2, I'd film 5 videos using those exact hooks, plugging in my own examples. On day 3, I'd post them. That's it. No optimization, no aesthetic agonizing, no fancy editing software, just volume and modeling. The same approach applies whether you're writing on LinkedIn or building Instagram carousels. Find what's already viral, model it, ship it, repeat. That's the entire game in year 1. Number 2 is that I would pick one platform and absolutely dominate it before touching anything else. This is something I really wish someone had told me at the very beginning, because instead I spread myself across LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, and Facebook all at once. What happened was that I built a mediocre presence on 5 platforms instead of a dominant presence on one. Honestly, you cannot win that way. Every platform has its own rhythm, algorithm, audience expectations, and format quirks. When you split your attention across all of them at the start, you're essentially a beginner on 5 platforms instead of becoming an expert on one. So if I had to start over today, I would pick TikTok, no question. And I want to explain exactly why, because this matters. TikTok is the only platform where a brand new account with 0 followers can go viral on its very first video. I have personally seen this happen multiple times in my community. The algorithm truly does not care how many followers you have. It cares about whether the content is high quality and whether you're not a bot. That is literally it. Compare that to YouTube long form, where you can pour 20 hours of editing into a single video and get 100 views because nobody knows you exist yet. Or LinkedIn, where you really need a warm professional network to get any meaningful traction. TikTok is hands down the fastest learning environment for a new creator, period. So my playbook would be TikTok first, 2 videos a day, every single day for 90 days straight. No exceptions, no weekends off, no I'll catch up tomorrow, 2 videos every day. Then once I have a repeatable viral format and I'm consistently averaging at least 50,000 views per video, I would start cross-posting to Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. And only after I'm consistently growing on those 3 would I even consider long-form YouTube or LinkedIn or any of the other platforms. The biggest mistake I see is people who post once or twice a week on 6 different platforms and then complain that nothing is working. Well, of course nothing is working. You're not actually doing the thing. You're doing 10% of the thing on 6 platforms. That's not a strategy, that's noise. The other mistake is people who spend 3 hours editing each video like it's a Hollywood production. You don't need that, especially on TikTok. The platform rewards rough, authentic, low production content because it feels native to the user. People scroll past polished, branded content faster than anything else. Creating content is mentally exhausting, even when you batch it. If you're trying to optimize for 6 algorithms at once, you're going to burn out by week 3. I've watched it happen to so many people in my community. They start with this massive cross-platform strategy, they're exhausted within 10 days, and they quit by day 21. Meanwhile, someone who just commits to TikTok and ignores everything else is still going strong at day 60 and starting to see real traction. Sustainability matters more than ambition in year 1. Pick the one thing you can do for 90 days straight and protect your energy fiercely. So thing number 3 I do differently is I would build a paid offer in week 1, not month 6. This is the one that genuinely cost me the most money. I spent the first several months of content creation thinking I needed to grow my audience before I could monetize anything. So I'm posting, I'm growing, I'm building the brand, and the whole time I'm leaving money on the table because I don't have a single thing to sell. And here's what I figured out, and this is the part that's going to feel uncomfortable for some of you watching. You can start selling on day 1. You don't need 10,000 followers. You don't need a personal brand. You don't need a polished website. You don't need a logo. You don't need any of that stuff. You need a clear offer, and you need to put it in front of the right people consistently. So let me give you the exact structure I would use if I were starting tomorrow. My offer would be Claude training for businesses. Why? Because Claude is the absolute hottest AI tool right now. Businesses are flooded with budget for AI upskilling, and the supply of high-quality trainers is basically 0. Most of the existing Claude content out there is either super technical for developers or super marketing focused, which leaves entire industries and team functions completely unserved. The pitch is honestly so simple. I'll train your team how to use Claude in 1 day, and your team will save at least 5 hours per week per person. Price it at $5,000 to $10,000 depending on team size, and trust me, that's a steal for any company doing the math on time savings. And how do you find clients for this? Cold DMs. And I'm not talking 10 DMs a day. I'm talking 200 DMs a day across LinkedIn and Instagram. Yes, 200. Most people fail at cold outreach because they reach out to 5 people, get ignored, and decide it doesn't work. That's not how this works. So here's the exact method. Go find people who recently commented on viral Claude videos. Those people literally raised their hand. They typed out a comment saying they want to learn this stuff. DM them. The pitch is honestly so simple. I'll train your team how to use Claude in 1 day, and your team will save at least 5 hours per week per person. Price it at $5,000 to $10,000 depending on team size, and trust me, that's a steal for any company doing the math on time savings. And how do you find clients for this? Say something like, hey, I noticed you were trying to learn Claude on that video last week. I trained teams on this, and I'd love to share a quick skill I built that solves the exact thing that video was talking about. Want me to send it over? Lead with value, not a pitch. Always. Here's what's going to happen. Most people will ignore you. That's fine. Some will reply asking for the skill. Send them a free PDF with one useful Claude workflow, and at the bottom include a one-liner saying you offer custom training for teams. A small percentage of those replies will turn into discovery calls, and a small percentage of those calls will turn into paid clients. The math works if you do the volume. After 200 DMs a day for a week, you will have at least one paying client. I'm telling you, it's that simple, but most people don't do it because they're afraid of rejection. They want to wait until they feel ready. You will never feel ready. Ready is a feeling you get after you start, not before. So if I had to redo this part, my first week would look like this. Day 1, write your offer in one single sentence with no commas. Day 2, write 3 different cold DM scripts and test them against each other. Day 3 through 7, send 200 DMs per day, tracking which script gets the best response rate. By day 10, you'll have your first paying client. By day 30, you'll have 5 clients and probably $25,000 in cash. Now you have proof, you have revenue, and you have testimonials to build the rest of your business on. And the beautiful thing about this approach is this works in parallel with the content strategy from Thing 1 and Thing 2. Your content brings inbound interest from people warming up to your brand over time, and your cold DMs bring you cash this week at the same time. That's how you compress 2 years into 60 days. And one more thing on this, because I know somebody is going to ask, what if you don't want to do Claude training? Fine, the offer doesn't matter as much as the speed of putting it in market. The principle is pick something concrete that solves a clear pain point for a clear customer, price it, and pitch it within 7 days. It could be ChatGPT automations for real estate agents. It could be done for you AI avatar videos for coaches. It could be custom GPTs for e-commerce stores. It does not matter. What matters is that you ship the offer, get real feedback from real buyers, and iterate. Most people get stuck on picking the perfect offer, and they spend 3 weeks agonizing over the niche. Just pick one. You'll change it after your first 10 clients anyway. Speed beats strategy in year 1. Number 4 is I would treat marketing as 90% of the work, not 10%. This one is for anyone who has a technical background or who's thinking about building a product or app, but honestly, it applies to literally everyone in this niche. When I built my own AI product, the very first version of it, I made the classic mistake of spending 90% of my time on the product and 10% on marketing. I kept adding features, I kept polishing the UI, I kept thinking that if I just made it a little bit better, users would magically appear. And the thing is, that's just not how the world works. Nobody finds your product because it's good. They find your product because they were exposed to marketing for it. Even the best products in the world only succeed because somebody, somewhere, did relentless marketing. So if I were starting an AI business today, whether it's a product, a service, a community, a course, or literally anything else, I would flip that ratio from day 1. 90% marketing, 10% everything else. And when I say marketing, I don't mean some vague abstract concept like building a brand. I mean specific, concrete, daily actions. posting 2 pieces of content every single day, sending 200 cold DMs every single day, reaching out to micro-influencers in your niche to set up collaborations, showing up as a guest on other people's podcasts or YouTube channels, going to in-person events and meetups in your city, posting in relevant Facebook groups, posting in Reddit threads where your target audience hangs out, commenting thoughtfully on posts from creators in your space so they notice you. Marketing is the work. Building the product is the side project until you have actual paying customers giving you real feedback. And honestly, the biggest mistake I see is technical founders who hide in the product because building feels safe and marketing feels scary. I get it. I'm technical too. Building is comfortable. It has clear outputs. You can see progress. You shipped a feature. Marketing is messy. You post a video, it flops. You send 100 DMs, you get 2 replies, and one of them is rude. It feels like nothing is working, but that's the actual work. That's the actual job. The other thing I want to add here is that marketing must be daily. Not weekly, not when you feel motivated, not when the mood strikes. Daily. The compounding effects are honestly insane once you hit a critical threshold, but you must put in 90 days minimum before you'll start to feel any of it. Most people quit at day 14 because their content flopped and their DMs went unanswered. Day 14 is exactly when the work is supposed to feel pointless. That's the filter. So if I were redoing this, every single day of my first 90 days would start with marketing. 2 videos posted before lunch, 200 DMs sent by end of day, 1 collaboration outreach per day. That's the routine, non-negotiable. Product building, content optimization, analytics review, all that stuff lives in the remaining time, not the other way around. And if that sounds like a lot, it's because it is. But it's also the actual difference between people who hit 6 figures in their first year and people who are still grinding 2 years in with absolutely nothing to show for it. The work isn't a secret, it's just that most people aren't willing to do it. Let me give you one specific tactic that nobody talks about. When you post a video that flops, don't delete it. Look at the comments and pull every single objection people had into a notes file. Those objections are gold. Every objection is a future video. Every objection is a future DM script. Every objection is a feature request for your product. The data you collect from your marketing efforts in the first 90 days is more valuable than anything you'll learn in a course because it's specific to your niche and your audience. Most people are sitting on a gold mine of feedback and they ignore it because they're embarrassed by their flops. Don't be that person. Mine your flops. So thing number 5 I do differently is I would stop learning and start shipping after 10 hours of study. No exceptions. This is probably the single biggest unlock if you're early stage. What I see constantly is people who consume hundreds of hours of AI content. They watch every Claude tutorial on YouTube, every prompt engineering masterclass, every faceless YouTube breakdown, every video on building an AI agency. And after 6 months of this, they have absolutely zero output. No content posted, no DMs sent, no clients, no revenue. They're in what I call learning paralysis, and it is the silent killer of AI businesses. Here's the rule I would set if I started over from scratch. Learn for 10 focused hours, then ship your first thing. That's it. For Claude, that's 1 weekend with my channel and a few other strong tutorials. For content creation, watch about 30 viral videos in your niche and break down the hooks line by line. For cold outreach, read 1 solid article on DMs and write 3 scripts to test. That's all the prep you need. Anything beyond 10 hours before you ship is procrastination disguised as productivity. And that's what makes this so hard. Learning feels productive. It feels like progress because you're filling your head with information. You can say, I'm learning Claude right now, and it sounds legitimate. But information isn't progress. Action is. The market doesn't pay for what you know, it pays for what you ship. So if I were starting tomorrow, my first 10 hours would look like this. Hours 1 through 3, watch my Claude Cowork playlist and follow along on your computer step by step. Hours 4 through 6, pick 1 niche and study 30 viral videos, saving every strong hook to a notes file. Hours 7 and 8, write your offer in 1 clear sentence and draft 3 DM scripts to test. Hour 9, set up your TikTok account, write your bio, and choose a profile picture. Hour 10, film your first video using the best hook you found. After that, ship every day for 90 days. No more tutorials, no more courses, and no more YouTube rabbit holes. You only learn in response to a specific problem you hit while shipping. So if your video doesn't perform, you ask why, you study one specific thing about hooks or pacing or delivery, then you ship again with that one tweak. If your DMs aren't converting, you study one specific thing about cold outreach copy. Then you send 200 more. Learning becomes responsive instead of preemptive. And honestly, this single shift would have saved me literal months of wasted time because I was someone who absolutely loved to study. I loved feeling prepared. I loved knowing I had read every article and watched every video before I started. But preparation is a trap when there's literally no end to what you could learn. There will always be one more tutorial, one more course, one more book. The only way out of that trap is to ship. Set the 10-hour timer, do the focused study, then start. Everyone who's winning right now started before they felt ready. Okay, so let's recap quick before we wrap up. Number 1, steal viral formats from day one and stop trying to be original. Originality is a year 2 problem, not a year 1 problem. Number 2, pick one platform, ideally TikTok, and dominate it completely before you touch anything else. 2 videos a day for 90 days, no exceptions. Number 3, build a paid offer in week 1, not month 6. The fastest path right now is Claude training for businesses at $5,000 to $10,000 per engagement, but the underlying principle applies to literally any service. Number 4, treat marketing as 90% of the work, not 10%. Whatever you're building, marketing is the actual job and product is the side quest until you have real paying customers. And number 5, stop learning and start shipping after 10 hours. Learning paralysis is the silent killer, and the only cure is action. If I were starting from zero tomorrow with no audience, no email list, no product, and no network, this is exactly the playbook I would follow. And realistically, if you do all 5 of these consistently for 90 days, you will have a paying client base, a growing audience, and a clear sense of what's working for you specifically. That's the version of past me that I wish I could go back and hand this playbook to. So now you have it. The only question is whether you'll do it. If you got value from this, hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next training. Drop a comment below telling me which of the 5 you're going to start with this week because I read every single one and I want to know where you're at. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.